Hello, hello, hello. So, as Lawrence was putting this microphone on me, he tells me, good luck, you're following a guy that speaks for a living. So, thank you for that, Lawrence. He tried to make it better by telling me, wow, I can hear your heart beating through the microphone. So, thanks again. I want to start off by saying I'm sure every person woke up this morning thinking, man, I want to hear about insurance in ways that I might not be covered. Maybe Blake thought that, or thought about talking about insurance, but I'm sure most of you really, that's not what you want to hear about. So I'm going to try and make this not as boring as it could be. First, I do want to thank Jill in the Northwest Chamber for putting this on. This is a great thing. I've been to most of them. I think I missed one. I really enjoy it. It's a great place to network as well as learn. And also, I want to thank Lawrence with Ellen Ross Inc., IT Oklahoma, photography, whatever else Lawrence does. He is awesome. He's, I think, the backbone and kind of the vision behind this and works tirelessly for this. So, and they're both big believers in small businesses. So, Jill and Lawrence, thank you guys. Let's give them a round of applause because without them, this isn't possible. I'll tell you a little bit about myself, and I'll try and use all my space. He's shown us where we can stand. But my name's Aaron Ruiz, hence the Reese's peanut butter cups that I gave you. That way, in a couple weeks, if you're thinking, who is that insurance guy that talked to me? That was real boring and didn't really have a lot to say. You can think, oh, Reese, he gave me Reese's peanut butter cup. So at least you'll remember my last name. But yeah, like I said, my name's Aaron Ruiz with Shelter Insurance. I've been in the insurance industry for about 6 years. I started when I was 13, and in that time, I have realized a couple things about insurance, specifically insurance in Oklahoma. First is our weather is terrible, and it's not about if you will have a claim, it's about when you will have a claim, and how bad will your claim be. Will your house be torn down by a tornado, or will you just have hail come all the way through your roof and land on your floor? I've seen both of those. The second thing I've learned is that commercial insurance and personal insurance are completely different animals, not even close to the same thing. And for instance, this building that we're in, a great building, beautiful, very expensive, you insure this completely differently than you would insure your residence. Still both buildings, but they're used for different reasons. You live in your house, you eat and sleep and, live with your family in your house. You come to this building to congregate, to have meetings, to meet with people. So you insure them completely differently. The challenge is, and same thing with like vehicles. My wife has a minivan. She carries our kids around in it. We have Airport Express vans. They carry people for a fee. Completely different things. You insure them completely differently. If Airport Express insured their vans the way I insure my minivan or my wife's minivan, they'd be in trouble. So you insure them completely differently, different policies. The challenge is most of us here are small business owners, maybe salespeople, and so where does the line end of I'm on my personal time to I'm on business time? A lot of people, they drive to work, they go into their office, get there at 8, leave at 5. That's the time that they're working. I know for me, I don't really have a clock. I'm pretty much always working. I'm driving to see customers, I'm driving to take pictures of houses, whatever. And so there's a big gray area of, okay, is this a business use vehicle? Is this a personal use vehicle? My house, maybe I use my house for business, so what do I need to do there? Is it just my house? Do I need to do anything to be sure I'm covered correctly? So we're going to talk about that today. I brought, this is Shelter's homeowners policy. This is Shelter's auto policy. These are without endorsements. So you can see lots of fun reading. So I'm just going to read to you some of the most exciting parts. I'm kidding. What we're going to do, though, I have some gift certificates to Higher Grounds Coffee Shop, new coffee shop on 63rd and MacArthur. I'm going to give you guys some scenarios, ask some questions, and see if you guys can answer them correctly on where the coverage would be in a situation. And then we'll get more into it as to, why things are covered the way they are. So let's get into this first question. Anybody a photographer here by profession? I know Lawrence takes pictures loosely to maybe by profession. Anybody like that is their job? Like I take pictures, I take portraits, or know people that do that. We probably know people that take pictures. So let's say we have Phoebe, the photographer. She has her case of camera equipment. She goes and she takes pictures of people at parks, at schools, wherever she needs to go, she goes. She's spending 40, 50 hours a week taking pictures. That's how she provides for herself. Say she's a single lady, she owns her house, she owns her car, she owns a van, a Ford Econoline van to carry all of her camera equipment. Let's say that Phoebe has her car parked in her driveway, leaves it there overnight. She just got done taking pictures of somebody, has all of her camera equipment in there, her laptop, video camera, all kinds of stuff, and overnight somebody breaks in and steals her car. Steals it, all of her camera equipment's gone, car's gone, everything like that. So she calls her insurance person the next day and says, hey, my car is stolen, all my camera equipment is gone, car's gone, obviously. What do I do? Where do I need to turn the claim in? Help me. How do I do this? So here's the question. One, her car is covered. We'll say her car is covered. She has comprehensive coverage. Her car is covered. The insurance company is going to replace her car. The question is her camera equipment covered? If so, is it covered on her homeowner's policy or her auto policy? So let me give you three choices actually. Covered on homeowner's policy, covered on auto policy, no coverage. Can anybody answer it?
No coverage.
Lawrence, Lisa. I saw Lisa's hand go up first, sorry. Give me a guess. You're going to get a gift certificate either way, right or wrong. So the camera equipment is in the car and the car is stolen. The car's in the driveway of the house. Homeowners? Okay. You were right. Come get your gift certificate. You were going to get it either way. You were right. Let me get into it further though. And we'll get into it more in a little bit. There is coverage on her homeowner's insurance. $20,000 of camera equipment. Most insurance policies, and again, this is different. Blake is an independent agent. He knows different companies have different ways they cover, like business, personal property, things like that on an insured premises. Most policies will give you $2,500 of coverage for business, personal property on your premises. So $20,000 of camera equipment, let's say she has a $1,000 deductible, she'll get $1,500. So it is covered, but not a lot. She's still in a lot of trouble. Scenario 2, Phoebe, later that week, she has backup camera equipment, same stuff, $20,000 worth. Later that week, she's at a park, taking pictures, senior pictures for somebody. She gets done, puts her camera equipment in her van. She's driving her commercial van. She doesn't have it insured on a commercial policy because it says Phoebe's pictures on the side. It's a big van, all her stuff is in there. So she's done, she leaves, she goes to eat, her van's broken into. Her camera equipment's stolen again. Tough week for Phoebe. Tough week for Phoebe. Now, how's that covered? So here it is again. Is it covered on the homeowner's policy, the van policy, no coverage? Anybody want to answer? Van, come get your gift certificate, but you're not right, unfortunately. So never, no, you can get it. Never, ever do you have contents coverage on a vehicle. Doesn't happen. So like if you have stuff in your vehicle, it's never going to be covered unless it's permanently attached to your vehicle. She has a little bit of coverage, but it's not going to pay anything out. So most homeowners policies for business personal property have $2,500 of coverage on the insured premises. Away from the insured's premises, they have $250 of coverage. So she's going to get covered for $250 for her camera equipment, minus a $1,000 deductible, probably won't even file a claim. Tough week for Phoebe. So Lawrence is giving me some sort of signal. We'll go through this quicker. So Phoebe says, I'm not going to go off-site anymore. I'm going to leave all my camera equipment at home, turn my garage into a studio. People are going to come to me, and we're just going to, do it that way. She hasn't made any changes on her policies though. So she's taking pictures. She's like, I'm going to be careful. Get a camera equipment installed, like security cameras, all kinds of stuff like that. We're going to be careful. We're going to, this isn't going to happen again. She's taking pictures at her house in her studio. She has the lights, for the right lighting. She finishes her pictures. The person leaves. She goes cooking dinner for herself. The lights overheat. Set one of her backdrops on fire, burn her house down. Everything is gone. So the fire department comes out, she calls in a claim, the insurance company says, oh yeah, you got a great policy. You're covered full replacement costs on your contents, your house is insured up to 125% of the home's insured value, you got a good policy. The fire investigator looks and says, oh yeah, this was started by your camera equipment, your commercial camera equipment that you have in your house. Set the backdrop on fire, burned the whole house down. And they tell the insurance company that. And she says, oh yeah, I have my camera stuff in there in the garage. A couple weeks go by, she doesn't hear anything. So now she's waiting. Is this going to be covered? So here, this is a question. Is this covered? Yes or no? And if so, are there any limitations? Does anybody want to tackle this one? Somebody just guess, because you're going to get a gift certificate. So you don't think it's covered? You guys are right. So it's a homeowner's policy. So and again, this is an extreme scenario, but legally, the insurance company could deny everything. No coverage whatsoever. She has a business on her premises that she did not endorse onto her homeowner's policy. So she could lose everything, not get paid anything. She'd get a letter in the mail that says, sorry, Miss Phoebe, the photographer, we're not covering your loss. And you're out of luck. So who gets this gift certificate? So let's get in. She didn't have any endorsements in that scenario. We'll get into this. Lawrence, here's your gift certificate. I'll put it up here for you. And what was that signal? Did you say I had 5 minutes, or I needed to?
You have 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. So we'll get into this. So on a homeowner's policy, let's say what a homeowner's policy will allow. It will allow some business occupancies. A photographer, like a photography studio, something like that, most likely would be allowed. But you still have to endorse it on there. You still have to let your insurance company know that, hey, I'm running this business. And it would likely increase your premium by not a lot, but it will increase the premium. And you need to do that for 2 reasons. One, so your house, your stuff, your contents are all covered correctly. 2, so your liability coverage is correct. If you have people coming onto your property, that they are covered should they be injured and try and sue you. Now, that's not really getting into her camera equipment as much. So let's talk about the camera equipment. How can she be sure that she has that covered correctly? And there's a couple ways, a couple things that she could do. By endorsing coverage onto your homeowners, sometimes that will increase your limits for business personal property. It depends on the company, and it depends on what type of business you're doing. You're going to have to do that anyway, because you need to let your insurance company know I have a business at my house. But really, the 2 things that you should do, one is you could get a BOP, a business owner policy, in coordination with your homeowner's insurance. That would cover your business personal property. However, that's going to have limitations when your business personal property is away from the premises as well. The best way, if you are in that type of work, like a photographer, for Phoebe, the best thing for her to do would be to get what's called a commercial inland marine policy and schedule all of her equipment on there to be sure that it's covered correctly no matter where she is at home, and that's for the equipment side of things. So, with her car being robbed or stolen, those two previous things, her equipment would have been covered, adequately. And those commercial inland marine policies are very inexpensive, usually have lower deductibles like 100 to 500, sometimes even no deductible. And they're great policies for business owners to have. So I guess the bottom line and what it gets down to is, again, I showed these policies. I mean, nobody is going to sit through and look at this. Sometimes people might have their lawyers review their insurance policies or whatever. But the best way to know is to ask your agent and just let them know, this is what I do, this is where I go and how my business works or how I work or whatever, and they'll tell you what you need to do to be sure that you're covered correctly, because it's the agent's job to know the policies and know your exposure and how to be sure that you're covered the right way.